So when you really want to link it back to probably what you've always done, which is really you've decoded brands, you've decoded cultures, how a brand needs to get connected to a culture. So how do you think a regional identity kind of uh, say a myth, if I were to call it, okay, a brand, how do you think you will be able, while you are doing an ethnographic study, do you see connects between how brands can take advantage of this, and maybe what are brands missing, because they may actually paint every Indian consumer as one kind of a model, right? But suddenly what you're telling me is that so much of regional identity is there, that there are advantages that the brand can take. Did you see some misses that when you see it from the other mirror that you've always been?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it is a very interesting space, but I guess brands might be also like the more regional diversity they bring in, the more fluid then their brand becomes. Generally, in branding, they try to have a very consistent. If you're a
Correct.
national brand,
Mm.
so they'll have to see how can they localize to
Mm.
region. But I think when it comes to regional identity, in fact, I was surprised, when I was talking to these creators in Chhattisgarh, they were telling me about Kantara, the movie. This
Oh,
Kannada movie,
okay.
it's with,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct, correct.
like they have watched the dubbed version of it, and they were talking about, that it's such a good movie. So I think even regional content, right? It's not that only people from that region are only appreciating it.
Mm.
So instead of, it's more like the granularity or the richness of
Mm.
that region,
Mm.
which can come into the content. Otherwise, you try to standardize it for the entire country, then you lose the details.
Correct,
Lose whatever that lowest common
correct,
factor is
correct.
written in, right? So, which is what I think Bollywood is now losing out, because they are
Yeah,
trying to use that formula which will work across. Then it becomes a very
yeah.
completized thing.
So you are saying that the the content is becoming fluid across geographies. Is that something that you are saying? Yeah. Hmm?
Yeah, as in the content is getting richer and more rooted in the regional
Mm.
space.
Okay.
In fact, as in this village, an interesting thing is that the people involved in this, right? They come from a family which was involved in the Ram Leela in their
Okay.
in their village. So
Okay.
technically, if you go through the villages in India, it is theater or performance has always been a part of our culture.
Mm.
If
Mm.
you
Mm.
go back generations, Ram Leela, and I don't know if you have seen Kantara, the movie there. It's a dance form, right? So like Yakshagana coming,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have not seen Kantara, but I've kind of seen
the
the
yeah, the trailer of it,
the trailer of it, and there are enough conversations around it.
around it.
But clearly, something like a PS1, okay, of from
Mm.
Tamil Nadu, again, it's again a big grosser, but
Yes,
but clearly again it has got similar hues with, say, a Kantara, because it's a typical Chola kingdom and things
yeah.
like that, which actually is what it's built on, right?
So
Yeah.
the whole roots, right, where you came from or whatever, like it, going back to the history and the roots of that region.
Mm.
That is something I think is kind of coming back in India also right now culturally.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm not sure why it is happening. Like one of the, based on what I have been reading, I see that, like it's basically, after India got independence, and then when like Nehru became like the first prime minister, and then they had to set up India as a country. So they had a choice. They had two models.
Mm.
First model was to go back to the pre-British era of India, use that as the identity, as the raw material to build India's identity based, rooted in that heritage and history.
Mm.
The other option was to ignore everything before that, start afresh, make India forward looking and align it with like move forward, modernize India so that it becomes at par with the West
Hmm.
from that point onwards. Right,
Hmm.
so these two routes were there, and these two routes are what divides the political ideology space
Correct.
in
Correct.
India. So at that time, they went ahead with the modernizing route,
Hmm.
and then, but this other route was still kind of dormant
Hmm.
in people's minds, and I think now, people are now kind of moving back to this, the other
Very
ideology,
interesting. Very interesting.
and
Very interesting.
in all facets, in fact, even the current ruling party, right,
Yeah.
BJP, has always been in that
Correct.
ideological space of
Correct.
using the older traditional roots as the source to build the identity of India,
Correct.
which is now, I think, now become the dominant ideology.
Very
So
nice. Very nice.
hopefully
So
we see this repeating even in movies and other places, I guess. So